Welcome to Ynot on the PCT. Good morning, it's Saturday, September 11th, my last day of hiking. Left, it's smoky again, although getting a little better now, but you could smell the smoke when we woke up this morning. And the sun up here, if you can see it through the trees in just a sec, is definitely red. There you can see a little bit of the red sun. Just have like 18 miles today. About half of it, I think is going to more or less be like this, a little more, and then I get up to the Crater Lake Rim and walk around there, which is kind of basically a national park, maybe even a paved trail, looking down at Crater Lake, and Carrie's going to meet me there to finish off the walking, which will be really nice. Feeling good this morning, thinking a lot of things. I talked a week or so ago, maybe more, about what my routine was kind of from when I stopped hiking in the evening to when I start hiking in the morning. And I never talked about my routine during the day. And since this is the last day, it's probably a good time to do it. I'd really been generally setting my alarm so that I could start walking more or less as the sun came up. Earlier on, like in Northern California, that was to have as much walking as I could before it got super hot. In Washington, occasionally it was the heat. Often it was just that it was so hard. The miles were so hard and so slow that I needed all the time I had, or all the time I could get. So basically I would be doing things by headlight, but starting out just as kind of it got light, which of course is getting later. So lately was having my alarm at like 5:15 or 5:30, so start at 6:15 or 6:30. Lately I'm starting to walk and with my puffy coat on and my warm hat and my gloves for a while until it warmed up. Generally, I would walk in the morning without my headphones on, or if I had them on, it was just basically because it's a little bit better for the audio on these videos, but not listening to anything and just kind of thinking and free associating and stuff all morning. And really, the morning was generally the best time walking because it's very quiet and peaceful, and also probably because I had the most energy and wasn't tired. But I'd usually walk till somewhere between 10 and 12 before I would actually start listening to stuff, kind of depending on how I felt and whether it was smoky or hot, or somehow just if it was just really difficult, I would sometimes start listening to things quicker because my mind started to go a bad direction. I would think, okay, it's time to get something to occupy my mind. And then I'd listen to podcasts most of the afternoon generally, sometimes just turning them off and thinking, or if there are people around, I'd turn them off to talk to talk to the people, but which didn't happen much the last few days. And then often listen to music towards the end of the day. Would start out with the smoothie mix in one bottle and a bottle of water. Stop in the morning if I could for water like 11 or something, and get 2 more bottles of water. Mix up the dehydrated hummus to let that rehydrate for a little while. Make 1 bottle of with the drink electrolyte mix, which is half lemonade and half a Gatorade endurance formula. Walk farther, generally stop at, and in the morning I drink the smoothie mix, but I'd also try to eat the whole fruit and nut bag in the morning, because I was starting to really concentrate on eating as much as I could. So I'd eat that in the morning, then generally eat some other bag of like little cheese crisps or something. Around 1 or 2, I would actually stop, get more water if I could, and eat the hummus and little bagel chips, which is great. I started bringing olive oil to put in the hummus, which added calories and tasted really good, and also just made it really, really filling. So I would eat that and I would just be feel full for a couple hours. That, which was nice to kind of give me energy through the afternoon. And then generally, by the time it got to, earlier on, it was like maybe 4, generally 3 or 4 or something is when it just started to really get tougher, or earlier if it was hot. And the afternoon walking and then walking towards the evening was not terrible. It was more of a push, partly because I was just getting tired. That's when I got over 25 miles. And so, it was a push to finish. And I generally tried to get done at 6:30 recently. It was I had a little more time earlier, but I like to get done where I had a couple of hours. I had a fair amount of time before it got dark, so I could set things up and deal with stuff before it got dark. And I had a couple hours before I had to fall asleep, and the hours of sleep was more challenging earlier when I had more daylight, so I had more hours to walk, but also more hours to walk could mean less hours to sleep. But lately, not as much, because it's getting dark earlier. And that was kind of my daily schedule. So I talked a little bit about my daily schedule or routine, which kind of evolved as I was walking. And I really ended up with kind of a routine and a pattern for everything. And I think a lot of that was how I kind of kept myself going and kept partly it's efficient. And when you're trying to walk so much, efficiency is important, but it also, the kind of the regimentation, I think, kept my mind sometimes from going bad places. And it's like, okay, I just know how to do this, and there's a pattern to everything. But I also think at some point it's that being so patterned and repetitive also just got kind of got old, and is part of what wore me down too, because everything, it's like, so yeah, just do everything the same way, whether it's in my tent where I put stuff, what order I do things in, there was just such a pattern to things that I think that got a little bit old over time. Kind of walking along and not really thinking too much about what I was walking through, because it's not that that spectacular or anything. I just noticed that it's like all of a sudden, oh, it's changed a little bit. I'm still walking through these these evergreens, but they're shorter, and there's not lots of down back there. There's some down trees, but there really aren't here. It's getting more, there's a little grass out there, and it's more like just this kind of open grassy land with these shorter trees in it. So my last day of noticing the little environmental changes, so that's cool. I'm gonna miss that. I miss the feeling of just getting from one type of environment to another type of environment by walking. That's it. Just, there's something that feels pretty cool about that. Yeah, and I'll miss that, but that's good. It's good that there's some things that I'll miss. That makes me happy. A marmot here. Crater Lake behind me, not that you can see a lot of it in the smoke. So I just have a couple hundred yards to be done. I don't even know what the emotions are that have me all choked up. When I was in Washington, and especially when I was in northern Washington and seeing people who were getting close, I would say congratulations. Congratulations, you've walked a hell of a long ways. Say the same thing to myself now. I walked a hell of a long ways. And I'm actually really happy about it, despite what it looks like. I actually am just kind of emotional being done, but I'm really happy to be done. It's the right thing, and just get emotional. Hey, it's 2 weeks after I finished it at Crater Lake. We're up at Shaw Island in the San Juans. We stayed here with friends for a few days, and we kayaked a bunch and sailed, and just had a great time. Just rewatched the video that I made where I was talking about why I ended the hike, and I think I did a pretty good job, really, of explaining why. In short, it really feels, looking back, like before I started, I thought in addition to all the tangible things, you need to have there's some magical element that makes me want to get up and actually hike 25 miles a day and camp and get up and do it again. And I knew it was there, but I couldn't describe exactly what it was. And sometime over the end of the hike, that magic went away, to where there just was not, there wasn't anything that was making me want to do that, and it slid away over a period of time. It wasn't just all of a sudden gone, but sometimes in this 2 weeks I've been a little sad that I wasn't walking, and I could even think, oh, I'm supposed to be walking now, but it's all in a pretty removed way, because it's really clear that magic was gone, and I was done walking. This has been coming on for a while. I specifically remember at Cascade Locks when it was really tough to keep to start walking again there. Had a day off, had a lot of fun, but it was just, I really didn't want to keep going. It felt like I didn't have as much choice, because Carrie's vacation was starting. We'd already sent boxes to a couple of places. I had reservations at Timberline Lodge. And it also felt like it was just, in some way, it was too early to stop. It felt like I hadn't given enough time. And so I'm really glad that, for all those reasons, I kept going. But I definitely remember that was tough. And even though we walked to the little bridge where I had the picture on the front of the phone, and that was a really symbolic thing to go over that, I remember walking towards that and thinking, yeah, that's all nice, but I really don't want to be walking more. And I'm really proud of what I did, walking 1,200 miles. It's a hell of a long way to walk. And it was a great experience, and I'm glad I did it. And I can think a little bit, oh, I wish it just would have, I would have felt differently, but I didn't. And it was not a quick thing. I mean, I was feeling it for a while. I was feeling that go away. I was really, really clearly done when I stopped. So I'm in a good place, and I'm really enjoying having some vacation time now with Carrie. So that's where I am.